We are just 60 minutes away from a new era in Hockey Town. It starts on the bench with new coach Jeff Blashill focused on the task at hand. Yes, there will be some familiar faces, old hands to lead the way.
Zetterberg scores! What a great play! There with Datsuk, and Applicator scores! Dropped one back, Cornwall scores!
And the new kids on the block, well, they're not so new anymore. We know they can score.
Shan to Nyquist, the shot, scores! Takes the shot, save, rebound, scores! Tatar!
And they can hit. The youngest star? Well, he might shine the brightest.
Oh, nicely set up for Dylan Larkin.
To make this team complete, the Wings brought in two veteran All-Stars, one a power play specialist, the other a two-time Stanley Cup champion. And the man between the pipes, Jimmy Howard, returns with confidence, ready to return to All-Star form. Tonight, the Wings take on a bitter foe, one with a new leader of their own, one that is no stranger to Joe Louis Arena. Hockey Town is buzzing for a new beginning, and it starts right now on Fox Sports Detroit.
Red Wings Live on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Arby's. Hockey Town is indeed buzzing. Another season of Red Wings hockey begins tonight, and fans everywhere are excited to see what the new season will bring. They are piling into the Joe in hopes of a Red Wings win to start the new campaign. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the Fox Sports Detroit studios. I'm Johnny Kane. He is Darren Elliott. Another season of Red Wings hockey is upon us, and there's plenty to be excited about, as we know, Darren, other than maybe a Game 7 of the Cup Finals. Nothing really quite like the emotions of opening night.
No, especially at the Joe downtown. Doesn't get any better than this. Friday night hockey, opening night in Detroit against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a rival, original six. And there's something new. There's been something borrowed, but there's blue in the house as well. The Maple Leafs makes it a great matchup.
It's going to be good. We've got much more to come from Darren Elliott. We're going to be going back and forth from here in the studio down to Joe Louis Arena all night in order to get you all the coverage you need as we get ready for the 2015-2016 season openers. So, without further delay, we're going to welcome in John Keating and Chris Osgood from the Joe. Fellas.
Johnny, thanks. It is springtime. It is positively dewy here, the start of a new hockey season. The Red Wings of 2015-2016 get set to get going. You've been through a lot of these. What's opening night mean to a player?
Well, it's excitement, especially this season, anticipating a Red Wings team that could be very, very good. Coach Blashill, a new coach, is in here replacing Mike Babcock, a new voice in the dressing room. These Red Wings are fired up for the season, as well as we are in the booth here. But the fans, you can feel the excitement in this arena tonight with Toronto here as well. But I expect this Red Wings team to be very, very good this season.
As a goalie, you just want to make that first save, right? You just want to get a little action early on tonight.
And Jimmy Howard's been through this enough. He's played some huge games. I mean, I think he would have really been disappointed if he wasn't playing tonight. I look for Jimmy Howard to really have a good start to the season. He was outstanding in exhibition.
So it's the Wings and the Leafs, but there is sort of an underlying storyline, as you've probably heard by now. It was 2005. That was a nickelback ago that the Red Wings made the decision to replace Dave Lewis, and Mike Babcock was brought here, and he found great success. Led the Wings to the Cup in 2008, led them to the Cup Finals the next year. And within that decade, Jeff Blashill was told, we like you a lot, just be patient. He'd been an assistant here. He'd been coaching the top farm team with the Grand Rapids Griffins. It is said you must first have a lot of patience to learn to have patience. Blashill waited and waited and waited for the moment he's about to realize here tonight.
I was born in Detroit. I grew up a Red Wings fan. From a personal side, it's a pretty neat thing to be a Michigan guy, get a chance to coach in essence your hometown team. I think that's a pretty neat thing, and I understand that and respect that. And then again, just to be able to get the call and know the group you're going to go in and work with and work for, and that makes it real comforting. I think it allows us to hit the ground running. I think there's earned respect. That's both ways. I think I've had the opportunity to earn some of the players' respect in the room, and that'll filter to the other players, and vice versa. They've had their opportunity to earn my respect, so I think that helps us hit the ground running.
At what stage in your travels, and there have been several stops along the way, did you say to yourself, I'm going to be an NHL coach?
Yeah, I was at Miami of Ohio as an assistant, and I was itching to be a head coach at the time, and I remember this really clear as day. I was watching the highlights on the NHL network during the playoffs, and I said to myself, it was the first time I really felt that I wanted to leave college ultimately and get to the NHL, and I said to myself, I want to coach in the NHL, and I didn't know what that meant, but I knew for sure I wanted to be a head coach, and that took me to Indiana and the USHL, and then obviously the travels went from there. But that was the first time I really said to myself, you know what, those are the best players in the world. Ultimately, those are the best coaches in the world. I'd love the challenge of being able to be in that league.
Jeff Blashill has posted a sign in the Red Wings dressing room on their way to the ice. Greatness is a daily choice. We'll bring Darren Elliott back in to join the conversation now. Ozzy, how will the Wings' style of play differ now that Blashill is the head coach here?
Well, at times last season, if you could blame the Red Wings for something, is they played a little slow at times. I think you're going to see a quicker Red Wings team through the neutral zone. They're going to have a lot quicker first pass out of their zone. Jeff Blashill expects this team to play very, very fast. And you're going to notice last year the Red Wings, not a lot of offense from the defensemen. You're going to see that offside defenseman jump in and really bring some more offense to this team this season.
And Darren, your thoughts on what the Wings will look like with a coaching change here?
Well, I think what Ozzy's talking about, there's a commitment to scoring goals or a commitment to keeping goals out of your own net. Jeff Blashill, he doesn't want to add risk. That's the coach speak. The commitment is to score goals. That involves everybody, all five, and the defensemen. So the other side of it to me is with Jeff Blashill behind the bench, compared to Mike Babcock, I'm going to say the term is he wants his guys to play the game, not work the game. And that doesn't mean any less commitment. That's just a slight philosophical change.
And Darren, the Wings have this infusion of youth, and I would think that makes Blashill uniquely qualified to coach the group here in Detroit.
Very much so, guys. When you think of Jeff Blashill, he has coached everybody on this roster except the new guys in Mike Green and Brad Richards. 10 of the 23 guys he's won a Calder Cup with. So he's very familiar with these guys. He's formed a bond with a lot of these guys, and now it's the next step for him. A lot of his guys that he's coached, have already made that jump to the National Hockey League. Now Jeff Blashill joins him as the bench boss.
I'll put this question in Ozzy's direction. Who benefits the most from the coaching change here in Detroit?
Well, I'm going to think Jakob Kindl for starters. I mean, this guy played very well when he was in the lineup last year and really was a whipping boy for Mike Babcock. And he needed some confidence in Jeff Blashill, who's coached him before, really knows him and is going to give him that confidence that he needs. Listen, this kid has some great skill. He's a very good passer, first pass out of the zone. He just needs some confidence. I remember he said to me last year, he played a game, he had a goal and assist, then he ended up not playing for 3 weeks. That doesn't do any good for your confidence. I think you're going to see a different Kindl this season.
And Darren, wouldn't you recognize that it's kind of Kindl's time now, that it's time for him to sort of step forward if he is to make an impact at the NHL level?
Yeah, I think it's Jakob Kindl. I think it's Brendan Smith as well, Ozzy. I think those two guys stand to benefit the most because everybody's going to be involved. And when I say that, it's not like all of a sudden it's green light, go. No, you've got to make reads. You've got to join the attack efficiently, properly, not add risk, but you're allowed to use your instincts. And for Kindl and Smith, their instincts are skating and getting up and supporting the rush.
Darren, thanks. Right back to you shortly. Because it's been a while, we offer this friendly reminder that if a member of the Red Wings were to have a hat trick here on opening night at Joe Louis Arena, well, it would bode well for you. In such an occurrence, you could bring a copy of the scoring summary to any Arby's tomorrow and receive a free small order of curly fries. We just talked to Jeff Blashill. He's getting ready for the game tonight. His family will be here. His dad, a former Detroit cop, was honored by his peers earlier today. It's the Wings and the Leafs on opening night in downtown Hockeytown.
Red Wings Live is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Motor City Casino Hotel.
I think the transition for us won't be that big because he's been in the organization. You know, we basically play the same system, and he's been doing a really good job down in Grand Rapids with all the kids there. And he basically been coaching half the team already. So he knows what he has, and so far it's been a lot of fun.
I think it's a great situation for us, him coming in with his excitement and his passion for coaching here in Detroit and his ties, being a Michigan guy. I think it couldn't have worked out any better.
Obviously we'll miss Babs, and he was amazing for us, and you can look at his resume and he's such an amazing coach. But I think with Blash coming in, it's just a new sort of excitement, and I know guys are comfortable with him because over half of our team has played for him in Grand Rapids, and I think everyone's kind of happy to have him here, and they know how much he's accomplished with every sort of team he goes into, he affects and helps them win. So we're all excited for that.
All right, welcome back to Red Wings Live. The Wings and fans everywhere excited to see what Jeff Blashill can accomplish as the new head coach here in Detroit. As the Wings transition out of the Mike Babcock era, the Toronto Maple Leafs are transitioning in. For more on that, we welcome in Trevor Thompson from Joe Louis Arena. Trev?
Johnny, thank you very much. And during his 10-year stay here in Detroit, Mike Babcock earned a reputation as an intense head coach who was a stickler for detail and had a strong passion for the game of hockey. And those supporters of the Toronto Maple Leafs thought that's exactly what their team needed. Some intensity, more attention to detail, and more passion for the game. So this really seems like it would be a match made in heaven. And early on, that seems how it's going in Leafland.
Oh, I think it's been great. I think he's very, like I was just telling someone, very straightforward. You know what to do on the ice. You know what he expects, and our practices are pretty crisp. We go out there, we work hard. We know exactly what he wants, and we're just trying to get better every day and learn the systems and competing hard.
He knows how to win. He's got a great attitude. He knows how he wants his players to act on and off the ice, and I think that's important. And it's been going well, so hopefully we can win a game for him here in his returns.
For Babcock and his return to the Joe, but I know the Red Wings want to win one for Blashill in his first game as an NHL head coach. In sports, it often comes down to who wants it most. That's what we'll find out here tonight. Johnny, back to you inside the studio for now.
All right, Trev, thanks. We're going to be going back to you in just a little bit. But, Darren, obviously, at the end of last year, two huge questions, right? One was about the coach. Okay, the other was who would claim the starting goaltender spot come October. Jimmy Howard's going to get the nod tonight, but you still expect we're going to see our fair share of Peter Mrazek, right?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, the schedule dictates that you're going to see both guys a lot. Only team in the NHL that has back-to-back games every weekend in October. It goes beyond that, all the way up to Thanksgiving. 6 of 7 weekends they have back-to-back games, 16 in all over the course of the season. But early on, there's really no decision. Both guys are going to get their starts, they're going to get their minutes, they're going to get their looks, and then they're going to go from there. And I think that the schedule really helps out a new coach, not having to make a decision. Blash can just say, hey, schedule dictates, we're going to see Peter Mrazek tomorrow. Jimmy, you start tonight.
So a lot of times, like to make a football analogy here, they say if you have more than one quarterback, you don't have any. But it's a different situation because of the schedule here. But is this going to lend itself to a little bit of controversy? Let's say one guy plays well one night, the other one not so much the next night.
Well, that'll be easy. There'll be no controversy then, because it's all based on the performance. And so somebody's going to have to seize the net, and I think it's going to be competition based on the two guys and whoever gets the results on the ice. Perfect world, you want a 55-27 split, 2-to-1 ratio. Can that happen? How they get there? They will eventually get there. How they get there, that will all be based on results. You don't want to divide the room. You want a clear direction, and part of that is who's our #1 guy. But in the early going, both guys are going to play, and they need both guys. You need two good goaltenders to garner points in today's NHL.
All right, very good. So tonight it'll be Jimmy Howard, but before long, we'll see Peter Mrazek there in between the pipes. All right, coming up here on Red Wings Live, believe me, you do not want to miss this. Mickey Redmond sat down with both head coaches, Mike Babcock and Jeff Blashill, and no topic was off limits. That's coming up next.
Red Wings Live on Fox Sports Detroit, brought to you by Priority Health, Michigan's healthier approach to healthcare. And visit your Detroit area Honda dealers today or go to DetroitHondaDealers.com. We continue from the Joe on opening night. The Wings and the Maple Leafs just after 7:30 here on Fox Sports Detroit. If you've ever moved or had to move, you know you wouldn't wish it on anybody. A terrorist, maybe. Okay, a Kardashian. But Jeff Blashill was just getting his family settled after moving from East Grand Rapids, and the place, as you could expect, not completely ready for guests. But this says all you need to know about the Blashills, because when we arranged to have Mickey Redmond and Mike Babcock and Jeff Blashill meet there and talk about their unique set of circumstances, the Blashills said, that's just fine. The conversation began with the start of the season that has the two coaches in the same building on opposite benches.
Goes to tea time. Two old friends getting back together. Mike, it's been 10 years that you were here. You were ingrained here. Your thoughts on being at Joe Louis Arena as the opposing coach?
Well, I mean, obviously there's two sides to it. Is we need the points. And I coach the Toronto Maple Leafs now, and proud to do that, and proud to still be coaching Original Six franchise. In saying that, I had 10 wonderful years here. My kids grew up here. I still have a home here. Loved it here. The Illiches are spectacular. Kenny Holland's as good a friend as you can have. I mean, Blash, I'm proud of Blash. Hired him, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years ago maybe. And to see him grow and develop, saw his wife and his kids when I was coming in here tonight. You know, you're proud of him and you wish him luck every night except when he plays you.
How strange is that going to be for you walking to the other side of the building, so to speak, instead of the Red Wing side?
Yeah, it'll be strange. I mean, we did an exhibition. You know, I'm not... My emotions, I went through 12 days of unbelievable emotions when we were making the decision, and I'm through with that. I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thankful for my 10 years here. You know, we loved it. Let's be honest, we loved it. But that chapter is over with now, and we got a new one, and we're excited to get going.
And tomorrow night for you, Jeff, your first go-around in the NHL as the signal caller. You get a little bit of butterflies going yet, or will that happen tomorrow at 5 o'clock?
I don't think yet necessarily. I think, you know, heading into camp, you have some butterflies going to make sure that you take a good first step forward. You make good first impression. That's every new job I've ever had. That's the approach kind of going into the year. I'm sure come tomorrow night I'll have butterflies. But that's, I think, what makes it great. That's why I love the job. It makes sure that you do the work that it takes to be prepared. And so it'll be exciting. It'll be fun. But it's also, you know, it's my job. It's the work that you got to do and make sure you're ready to go.
So even though you guys you've been good friends for at least 4 to 5 years now, you got your own hockey teams, you got your own agendas, you're out there to win hockey games and get points. Do you ever think about the other guy on the other side of the bench when you're doing what you do with your own team?
Go ahead, Blash.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I've coached against a lot of guys that I've worked for before. I've coached against guys that are friends of mine. It adds a little bit of a look as you walk on the bench, but other than that, you're coaching your team.
Nothing personal.
And there's nothing... Friendship to me extends beyond hockey. It's well beyond that. I'll see him this summer when he's at his summer place here. We'll have a beer. When you go to coach, you're just doing your job.
And I concur with that. You know, as Blash is a Michigan guy who has come a long way in his coaching career and has earned the right to coach the Red Wings. And here's his opportunity, and he's been a serial winner. He's won everywhere he's been, and he's a good communicator, and he's a good coach, and he's got a good team to coach, and it's a good opportunity for him, and he's going to do a good job. I'm going to do a good job with the Leafs. We're at a different stage in our programs, but we're going to build that program up, and we're going to end up having a real good rivalry. It's just up and down the road, so it'll be fun that way. We always get together at the draft anyway, and so we'll continue to do that and bump into each other in that way. But in the end, whether it be Bill Peters or Todd McClellan or Paul McLean or Jeff Blash, I'm proud of all of them. They want to beat you when they're coaching against you. You want to beat them.
In fact, Mike Babcock confirmed to me about an hour or so ago that, yeah, he bought a piece of land just outside of Detroit on a lake, and he'll maintain a residence here and one in Toronto, Ontario as well. More of that conversation still to come during Red Wings Live, as well as during our second intermission tonight. Part of the story here, though, aside from the coaches, is the NHL debut of a 19-year-old kid. Dylan Larkin from Waterford making his way to the Joe tonight for a night he and his family will not soon forget.
Red Wings Live is brought to you by ZotAuto.com, home of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Ford, Toyota, and Scion. Now, there are a few new things you'll want to watch for this season around the NHL. Coaches Challenge will be in effect for 2015-2016. The coaches can challenge goals that resulted from an offsides or by goaltender interference. Now, Maple Leafs head coach Mike Babcock, he was the first to use the challenge on Wednesday night. And you may see fewer shootouts. That's because before heading to the shootout there, teams are going to play 5 minutes of sudden death, 3-on-3 overtime. This is something that Ken Holland has been in favor of for years, and he knows Red Wings fans will be too.
I think the fans are going to love it. I know some of our players have commented that they've loved lots of ice. You know, high skill, lots of ice. You're going to see lots of scoring chances. And we did the 3-on-3 the first day. I think there was 3 goals scored in a minute 40. I mean, they were, you know, there's just lots of ice. And when you factor in the skill level of the National Hockey League, I think that we're going to have way more games decided in overtime.
And we'll dive a little deeper into that 3-on-3 hockey tomorrow night on Red Wings Live. And while fans should be excited for 3-on-3, they should be even more excited, dare I say, for the emergence of the phenom, Dylan Larkin here. A lot of hype surrounding this young man, as you know, Darren. What can we expect to see from him tonight?
Well, he's a extremely gifted player. Speed is at the essence of his game. 19 years of age. But the thing about him is they put him in a position to be successful. He's going to play with Henrik Zetterberg and Justin Applicator. And you can see his ability to not only create space in small areas, in the open ice as well. And so for me, he's advanced in the last year so much to this point that he is now a Detroit Red Wing. And it's interesting, I got to play golf with him Monday, Detroit Red Wings golf party to support Little Caesars hockey. And his phone was blown up. He wanted to be anywhere but there. He wanted to be right where he is tonight.
Well, let's be clear here. It wasn't just the 2 weeks of training camp, obviously, where he ascended there. That's not what won him the roster. It all started this time last year, basically.
It did. They drafted him, and then they tracked his annual progress, and what a year it was for Dylan Larkin. So this is all the things that went into getting him here to opening night. What he did with the Michigan Wolverines as a freshman, leading the Big Ten freshman in scoring. World Juniors, he was the best player on Team USA. Griffins postseason, good numbers there. World Championships, okay, yeah, modest numbers, but he was playing in a checking role, and that's the other side of his game. He's a complete hockey player, and the preseason capped it off. So each stage, he proved that he belonged, and he belongs here tonight, and they're putting him in a position to be successful on the top line.
He's a fresh-faced guy, as we can see there. Again, you mentioned 19 years old. Got to work on getting a little gruff in there, but how about just his composure, his demeanor here on the opener? You know, inside he's got to be bursting, but he kind of keeps that calm mentality.
Yeah, he's young, but he's, you know, mature beyond his years, but he's still going to feel the nerves, but all the veterans around him, especially the two on his line, will keep him calmed down.
All right, very good. The 19-year-old Larkin could find himself in the running here for Player of the Game honors. You want to stay tuned to Red Wings Live following the game, where we will select the Fox Sports Detroit Red Wings Player of the Game presented by McDonald's. Stop by your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. And there they are, the fans making their way into the Joe for their first look at the newcomers, Mike Green and Brad Richards. Much more to come here on the show. We're going to tell you what to expect from the newest Detroit Red Wings. And that's coming up next on Red Wings Live.
To play against our old coach, he's been here forever and he did a great job. So I mean, people are probably gonna something to do too, you know, and just to make the welcome him back, and it's gonna be fun play, and obviously want to beat him.
Babs is going to come out here and try to do his hardest so he can win, and it's going to be a little bit of rivalry. It's going to amplify the rivalry even more between the Wings and the Leafs. So it'll definitely be cool, and there should be a lot of buzz in the arena.
It could be two identical teams out there. You know, the way we all know the way you know, Babs likes to conduct his teams and the way he coaches them, and I think you know, we're the same way.
Red Wings Live continues now on Fox Sports Detroit. We welcome in the viewers from Fox 2 as well. Former goalies Chris Osgood and Darren Elliott will be alongside in just a matter of moments. I'm John Keating. There is a phrase that I think is used by marriage counselors in couples training. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't. So you crazy kids, go out there and work things out. The Wings and the opposing head coach know each other very, very well. It'll have sort of a scrimmage feel to opening night here as the Wings and Leafs get set to do battle. But Mike Babcock made no secret of the fact that he would have loved to have had a right-handed shooting defenseman during much of his 10 years here. A guy like, say, the former All-Star Mike Green, whom the Wings signed as a free agent in the offseason.
Detroit was one of the early options, and we talked about a week in advance, and I liked what, you know, Ken had to say, and I was, you know, really intrigued with the competitiveness here, the leadership, the history, and I wanted to be a part of that.
Everybody looks at the value of a right-handed shooting defenseman. Are you aware how rare you were, especially for a franchise like this?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, you know, previous. I didn't realize that there was really no right-handed defenseman.
It was a
yet.
desert of them.
Yeah, and even forwards. I mean, I have a lot of left-handed passes to pass to, so you know, it was interesting to me. But you know, I guess, you know, they needed to fulfill that role and have a right-handed guy, and I was more than willing to come to Detroit and fulfill that.
Ozzie rejoins us now, as does Darren Elliott, back in the Fox Sports Detroit studios. The last right-handed shot defenseman was probably Brian Rafalski. So, Darren, how much were the Wings lacking in this capacity?
Well, it's not just that his right-handedness that makes him the right fit for the Detroit Red Wings on the blue line. It's his offensive instincts, a guy who scored over 20 goals in this league, a guy that's had over 70 points. Watch this. This tells you all you need to know about Mike Green. In his own zone, goes back, picks up the puck. So he started at his own blue line. He makes the pass, ends up making the play to the winger, but watch his route around the net and up the ice. Okay, so he's already, now he's 200 feet from the other net, makes the play to the winger. He had to make that decision, that commitment. That's him. He's now made it a 2-on-1, streaking through the neutral zone. Now here's where the right-handedness comes in. Left wing, watch him open up, pivot. That creates the passing lane, the catch and release, the shot, the goal. We're going to love to see Mike Green on the power play and aiding and abetting the attack all season long.
Ozzie, do we make too much out of the right-handed shot on defense?
No, not at all. The Red Wings needed a right-handed shot, and Mike Green fits in perfectly. And what I really like about him is he's going to be playing with Danny DeKeyser. This, to me, is going to be one of the Red Wings' best pairings. It really rounds out their sixth defenseman, bringing over a veteran guy that can bring that offensive ability. And this guy is very, very good, Green, at getting pucks through from the point, and the Red Wings needed that last year. Far too many block shots on the power play.
Danny DeKeyser with a foot injury, still out for about 3 more weeks, but Mike Green only one of the 2 free agent signings that Kenny Holland made during the offseason. The other is to bring in a 2-time Stanley Cup winner in Brad Richards. The Wings always have loved one veteran presence, maybe more than one veteran presence in their dressing room.
And this move, to me, was one of the best free agent signings in the offseason by Ken Holland. Richards is one. He's a proven winner. Conn Smythe winner when he was with Tampa Bay and they won the Stanley Cup. Won a Stanley Cup with Chicago last year. And by the way, 14 points in the playoffs, not too shabby. Some people thought he might be too old, but this guy keeps playing very well. And to me, just like Green, he fits in perfect on this Red Wings hockey club.
And Darren, some guys just know how to win. Isn't that so?
And he fits that, as Ozzie's talking about. When you look at a guy like Richards, he gives you depth down the middle. Every organization needs that. So when Pavel Datsyuk comes back, he can play with Henrik Zetterberg because you have a veteran that knows how to win draws, knows how to play on both sides of the puck. Perfect fit, as Ozzie described. That's a great addition to the Detroit Red Wings this season, guys.
All right, Darren, thanks. Right back to you shortly. Still to come, part 2 of a chat between the 2 head coaches that we'll see here in Joe Louis Arena tonight. But meanwhile, the players of the game. Jimmy Howard and the guys hit the ice here at the Joe. Red Wings Live continues. His guess is that he'll have 30 family members in attendance tonight as 19-year-old Dylan Larkin plays his first real game as a Red Wing at the Joe. He told us this morning that his dad grew up in Toronto before he came to the States to play college soccer, but that he's definitely a Red Wings fan this evening, a night that the kid has dreamt about for a while.
I can help just but to smile, you know, it was exciting, and you know, to call my parents and tell them that I was playing Friday was probably one of the best feelings I've ever had. So, you know, it's we're here. It's Friday, and yeah, I'm just trying to get ready to play.
How ready do you feel for this?
I feel ready. You know, I think my whole life I've been dreaming about this, and you know, I think going through camp has got me pretty ready for this.
It's the first time a teenager has been on the Red Wings opening night lineup since Mike Sillinger 25 years ago. We're happy to be joined by the president and CEO of Olympia Entertainment. Tom Wilson is alongside. We feel this infusion of youth coming up from Grand Rapids, and it creates energy in the building and throughout the organization, doesn't it?
There's no question about it. And I thought what was really interesting this year in camp, John, is that a lot of times you'll throw your kids out there in preseason and you realize, you know, they're not ready yet. But boy, maybe in a year or two or something like that. Well, this year Blash divided the squads into 2 equal squads, one a little older, one a little younger. But every game, the young players made a difference, whether it was Bertuzzi or Mantha or Larkin or Pulkkinen. And so I think as a fan, you're saying, well, not only is it going to be fun to watch Larkin, but a year from now, 2 years from now, it's a whole new set of Red Wings. That's pretty exciting.
In your career, you've been a part of many, many opening nights. What's it like for you?
Opening night is just always special. You have a nervous condition that always is there for you, but it's exciting. You don't really know what the season's going to bring, but you're excited to see what happens. And so this is sort of a special one. The simple fact that Larkin is here at 19, and having talked to Kenny Holland many times, Kenny will say one thing, but you look at his eyes and you can see how excited he is about this kid. So whether it's this year, hopefully, or even next year, he's going to be giving some great memories to Red Wing fans.
All right, well, we're running out of opening nights here at Joe Louis Arena because a couple of falls from now will be along Woodward Avenue at the new arena, an area that's known, of course, as District Detroit. Take us through the process. Is it on schedule? How excited are you with what's going on there?
You know, it's right on schedule, John, and that's what's exciting about it is that even though we're going to miss the memories that the Joe gave us, this new building has all the amenities and all the leg room and all the little things that make an arena great. We're just going to try and get you even higher if we can. That's our main goal, is to get you further up in the rafters when you're doing these reports. But fans are going to love it. I thought it was going to be a terrific building. As we get more and more into it, you realize terrific won't cover it. It's going to make a difference in the city. It's going to make a difference for Red Wing fans, for Red Wing suite holders, for Red Wing sponsors. Everybody is going to have a sensational experience in this building.
And you can follow the progress by visiting districtdetroit.com. You're not here to suggest that it's a little cramped here at Joe Louis Arena with that legroom comment, are you?
It's pleasantly cramped.
Okay.
Yes.
Tom, always great to see you. Good luck to your team tonight.
Thank you, John.
You almost forget what a force he can be when he's on one of those heavenly streaks. But as Johan Franzen passed the concussion issues that cost him most of last season, a candid mule next. Man, they were lined up early waiting to get in tonight, especially in light of the Tiger season and very especially in light of the Lions start. There is a particular buzz attached to opening night for the Wings, and that buzz makes its way to fill the Joe, which will have only one more opening night in its existence before the team's new rink opens in 2017. We continue with the Wings and the Leafs just after 7:30 here on Fox Sports Detroit and Fox 2 tonight. Well, forever the perception around the Wings is that they were always old. I mean, bathtub with a door that opens on it, old. I mean, what time is the Golden Girls on it, old? Their stars are in their 30s now. Zetterberg and Datsuk and Kronwall. But here comes an infusion of youth, sort of a middle level ahead of Larkin and behind the old guys. And these guys are seasoned just enough.
And to me, one of the best mid-range nucleus in the National Hockey League. These guys are all very good players. Nyquist, Tatar, Sheahan, they're all a little bit different. But Riley Sheahan, to me, is Nyquist, obviously the playmaker. Last 2 seasons, 28, 27 goals respectively. Sheahan's just a great two-way player. But all 3 of these guys for the Red Wings make the team potent, make them round this team out, make them very, very strong, not only up the middle, but on the wings as well. Nyquist, Tatar starred in Grand Rapids. Now they're starring here with the Red Wings and give them that 1-2 punch that the Red Wings need. And Thomas Tatar, obviously, this guy is a gamer. He's an electric player. He brings energy to the Red Wings, brings excitement. And these guys, to me, are just going to pile up the goals moving forward, John. These guys are very good players. You got Zetterberg, Datsuk, Tatar, Nyquist, very good duo as well.
Yeah, and Datsuk is perhaps a month or so away. So much talk about signing free agents like Green and Richards, but there's this feeling in the Wings dressing room that they look at the return of Johan Franzen almost as a great acquisition. His comeback story will be fascinating to follow. This much we have been told. Mules are stubborn. With more on that, to the ice level we go. Trevor Thompson rejoins his team.
Yeah, John, it's one of the big questions surrounding the Red Wings, not only tonight, but all season long. Can Johan Franzen take a licking and keep on ticking? And it all stems from the concussion issues that he's had during the past. And that's began, the latest was last January in Edmonton. Rob Klinkhammer, a shoulder to the head of Franzen cruising through the neutral zone, looked innocent enough, but this will be the first game Franzen has played since that point in time. Many are wondering, would he retire? And that was a legitimate question at times.
You know, it was scary when it dragged on for so long, but that was never in my mind, really, to quit. I don't want to quit like that.
Has your wife or family members urged you one way or the other?
No, pretty much just supported me, like in coming back, and not really putting any pressure on me to that or do that. It's just supporting me and, you know, pretty much asking how I'm feeling every day.
And you feel good now, right? I mean, you're in a great stretch. You feel like you're your old self again?
Well, yeah, old self. If you go back 15 years, maybe. That's how I feel.
That's good, right?
Yeah, it's great.
It's great to have the Mule back, and he'll skate on the left wing alongside Riley Sheahan and Teemu Pulkkinen here tonight. They need his offense to look for him to get that shot off. He's one of the most skilled shooters in the league when he's right. Let's hope he's right tonight. Back upstairs to you, Keats.
All right, Trev, thanks. And he is a big, big man. The Wings need Johan Franzen if they're to make yet another playoff push. When we come back, we'll share more of the conversation from Jeff Blashill's house last night between Mickey Redmond, the Wings head coach, and the now Leafs head coach about their beginnings. And that's next. One of life's lessons, as you get older, pick your spots. There won't be automatic Kronwallian explosions anymore. Nick Kronwall is now 34 and still one of the game's elite defensemen. He's one of 25 players who are members of the Triple Gold Club. Those who have won an Olympic gold medal, a world championship, and a Stanley Cup. If you've watched this show, you know it doesn't take much to tickle us. And so after we heard Jeff Blashill speak when he was hired to be Mike Babcock's successor, it was automatic. They sound exactly alike. The new boss, same as the old boss in the words of The Who, but they are their own men. We continue now with a conversation held last night at Jeff Blashill's home between Blash and Babcock and Mickey Redmond, who went looking for a little historical perspective on how they all ended up together here.
There's been a lot of turnover in the Red Wing organization, both executive level and with coaches. How did you find Jeff Blashill, Mike?
I don't know that. I've always been out there looking for coaches. Always trying to find guys and hear from guys. And Blash might know better than me. I forget who told me about Blash, but when I did my research, and he had won in Indy, and then he had won Indy, right?
Yep.
And then he had won when he had gone to Western there. I just thought that this is a guy that I have to talk to. And then, you know, I brought him to my house, and he was impressive to say the least. And so, you know, I'm not shocked at all of what Blash has been able to do. He did a real good job for us when he was in Grand Rapids. We had a relationship from being with the Red Wings, and so we talked, I don't know how much, often, like all the time. And so he'd watch my team play and give me feedback. I'd watch his team play and give him feedback, so you helped each other get better. You know, and so that's a positive thing. That's what you hope for. You're trying to make each other better. And, you know, the other thing I think people need to understand here is I'm happy that Blash is the coach of the Red Wings. Like, Blash should have been the coach of the Red Wings. He shouldn't have gone somewhere else. He should have had this opportunity. He's got this opportunity, and he'll do good at it.
And you have a story about the phone call that was made to you in Kalamazoo.
We've, you know, and I've had the opportunities to tell this story lots, but I was coaching Western Michigan. I just finished my first year. We had just put a bunch of money into our house there. I'd planned on being there a long time, and we have a young family, and our littlest was about a year old, had a tough night. My wife and I were trying to eke out a couple more minutes of sleep, and I got a call from a 248 number and kind of put it down and ignored it, and sure as it can be, it was a message from Babs saying, "This is Mike Babcock, head coach of the Red Wings here in Detroit." And so as we got together later on that afternoon at his home, I said, "Just so you know, I know you coach the Red Wings. I know who you are, and I know Detroit's in Michigan." And it was and we had a good laugh and started from there. But it was really, you know, and I've said this to lots in the last couple weeks, it was out of the blue. After our first conversation, I went home and said to my wife, there could be something here. This could actually lead to something. I just thought we saw lots of things similar. We saw hockey similar. We saw leadership similar. We saw teaching similar. And then as the process kind of snowballed and I got the job, you know, it was a pretty special opportunity for me. I've said this lots now, I would not be here today without the opportunity that Mike gave me. No question. Now, that doesn't mean maybe I wouldn't have been here later on, but no way by this moment. And that's not just by the opportunity that I got to be the assistant here. Probably just as important, if not more so, was the relationship we've had during my year as an assistant, and then the relationship over the last 3 years. We talked all the time. I know I had a unique relationship with the head coach in the NHL while I was in the American League. Most people don't get. I got a chance to grow big time because of that.
Of course, every coach becomes a better coach if he has a head-standing goalie. Ken and Mick will describe it from a rink all lit up, and the opening night assignment goes to the veteran Jimmy Howard tonight. It's a different Howard we'll see on the ice, as he will detail for you next. When we say we'll be seeing less of Jimmy Howard, it has nothing to do with playing time. It has to do with there's a bit less of Jimmy Howard to see after the midseason groin tear that buzz-killed his season last year. Howard dropped some weight. We have to remember that he was an all-star based on a terrific first half and never was really able to recapture that level of play when he came back from the injury. He couldn't wait for the start of the next season.
It wasn't really changing. It was more so learning about my body a little bit more, being a little bit more in tune with it, and you know, just basically strengthening my my lower body so it's strong, because this is a long season. So you know, I'm trying to put myself in the best possible position to stay healthy all season long.
You've got so much pride. How tough was the end of last season for you?
It was extremely tough, but at the same time, I understood the decision. You know, and I think it was the right decision for the team, because you know, Peter played really well for us in the playoffs. So you know, it was tough sitting there watching, because obviously, you know, I want to be out there with the guys, but I understood where it was coming from.
Let's get both goalies back into the equation. We'll start with Ozzy. Can Jimmy Howard recapture the form that made him an all-star?
100%, yes. I mean, this guy was an all-star twice. Made the Olympic team, by the way. He was a third goalie on the U.S. Olympic team. This guy's played very, very well. Almost stole the series against the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's played well each and every season he's been here with the Wings. He had an off second half, but that had to do with his health. He wasn't healthy. Now in the summer, in the off season, he's got himself in the best shape of his life. If he can stay healthy and make sure that he stays 100% and ready to go, plus the competition with Mrazek, that helps a ton as well.
All right, well, Darren, I'll throw this at you. What's the biggest key to Howard's bounce back this season?
The mental part of it. Last year, he had the roller coaster all-star
and lost his starting job in the same season. You got to bounce back, retake the net, and there's another guy, your goaltending partner, who doesn't want to give the net up. Should be intriguing all season long. They're going to need both of them.
Ozzie, your thoughts?
Absolutely. I think this is a great situation for the Red Wings to have two goalies at the top of their games in their careers. It could be nothing but good. Each and every night they're going to get a good start.
All right, it'll be the 654th meeting between the Wings and the Leafs, and it's not lost on us. Each team has won exactly 280 times against the other. Ken and Mick with a call. Coming up.